Unreal Living video blog number 4. Topic today, coincidences. Are coincidences actually coincidences? Now, what is a coincidence? Webster defines coincidence as the occurrence of events that happen at the same time by accident but seem to have some connection. The occurrence of events at the same time by accident but seem to have some connection. Coincidences are typical. We all experience events that seem somewhat connected, but we rule them out as being accidental or luck. I used to believe that these to be true, but as I've learned more about the law of attraction, my views have changed. The law of attraction is, simply put, just a metaphysical belief that like attracts like. You attract into your reality the most dominant beliefs that you have. If you have beliefs of abundance, then you will attract abundance into your life. If you have beliefs of poverty, then you will attract poverty into your life. And in my opinion, I believe that coincidences are not coincidences in the traditional sense. I don't believe that accidents happen, or in fact, luck happens. It is my belief that coincidences and luck are limiting beliefs. Now, why would that be a limiting belief? The shift here to me is that the underlying belief is that coincidences and luck happen to you. There's no real reason for them to happen other than just for the sake of happening. In my opinion, to me, that is very limiting. If you want to create a life of your own choosing, you're essentially taking zero responsibility for things that happen in your life. When you start to take a more holistic view, the idea then shifts to you creating experiences in your life. The law of attraction states that your reality is built upon your most dominant thoughts, which is known as your beliefs. That means, good luck or bad fortune are all events that have been created by your dominant thoughts or your beliefs. And you are now claiming responsibility for both the good and the bad events that happen in your life. And responsibility is a good thing. But before we delve a little deeper, I want to draw a comparison to the idea that events can be good or bad. Nothing is good or bad in the universe, but believing them makes them so. There's nothing inherently good or bad in the world. It is the meaning that we attribute to those events that makes it so. Any event in and of itself isn't good or bad. Say you get a job promotion and you start making more money. That sounds great. And most people would think that that is a good event in your life. But wait, since you started making more money, you couldn't really handle the extra stress of your new job responsibilities. And you develop a substance abuse problem, which is actually quite typical for a lot of businessmen. Now, the perception of that job promotion is different. Say, was that job promotion a good thing or a bad thing? Well, at first it was good, but then it kind of turned bad. Now, things start to turn even further south for you. With the drug abuse or alcohol abuse or whatever it is, you start getting sloppy at work, and you eventually lose your job, and your life basically turns into a complete crapshoot. So your days are filled with depression and anger because you lost your job, and you start hanging out with all the wrong kind of people, and basically your life revolves around getting high and drunk, and things go even further south for you. In one of these days that you're just drunk or high or whatever, you decide to go out driving, and you end up sideswiping an innocent pedestrian in your drunken stupor rage. What happens is you end up getting arrested and sentenced to 10 years in prison for manslaughter. So was that job promotion? Was that a good thing? Or was it a bad thing? Right now it's starting to look like it turned out pretty bad for you. But say things turn around for you. You get cleaned up, and upon being released from prison, you become a mentor to other people who want to clean up their life. and you become nationally recognized for helping others kick their drug habits. And you save hundreds, if not thousands, of people's lives by the new direction of your life. So, was that job promotion a good thing, or was it a bad thing? The point is here that I'm trying to make is that there are no good things or bad things in life. It's really only the meaning that we attribute them in the present tense. Now, to get back to coincidences. Today I experienced what would be considered a coincidence. I was at the grocery store just grabbing some food, and I began to ride away, and I noticed that one of my wheels was rubbing up against the frame of the trailer that I have from my bicycle trailer. Upon further investigation, one of the nuts on the axle on the wheel had actually fallen off somewhere. I looked around for it, couldn't find it, and I just thought to myself, damn it, now I have to get a nut somewhere so I can take my trailer basically anywhere. And it happened to be that I was pretty lucky that there happened to be a Canadian Tire in the same plaza that I was in. And I knew that they would have the right nut in there, since I had to go to a Canadian, because I had to replace that same nut about 5 or 6 months prior to that. So I head inside, and I couldn't find the right nut right away. And so I asked a few employees. Turns out that they hide the metric nuts in a different place than they have the imperial ones, and it just kind of threw me for a loop. So I get the right nut, and I head outside to my trailer that only has one wheel right now. And now you might think that this is like an annoying event. It's not really bad or terrible. It's just more of like an inconvenience, and someone could maybe label it as a bad event. So I begin to put my wheel back together on the trailer, and I hear a car honk behind me. And I look around, and a gentleman gets out of his car, and he starts to walk towards me. And I recognize this guy because he was actually standing outside the Canadian Tire when I walked in, and we actually said a brief hi to each other. He came up to me and he started asking me about my cycle tour trip that I'm doing, and he just started asking me questions about it, why am I doing it, and all that kind of stuff. Because he had seen my article, one of the local newspapers did an article on my trip, and he had read that article a while back. So he ends up, wishes me good luck on my trip, and then he hands me a $20 bill. And I was just like, wow, awesome. So I just start thinking, begin replaying basically the events of the day in my mind. So first we have the nut falling off the axle, Canadian Tire being basically right beside where I am, and having a brief exchange with this gentleman, and him actually recognizing me and donating to my trip. Now, was this event a coincidence? Most people would think so, or that it was just lucky. But typically, we would believe that this event was just luck or coincidence, and I just don't like to believe those things anymore. I find them limiting, since that means that they're happening to me. I'd much rather believe that I'm actually creating these events in my life. I would much rather believe that, humans, that we're all interconnected together on a plane of existence that we can't necessarily see with our eyes. And to me, it's much more empowering. It's much more empowering to feel that way, that we're all interconnected together. And I just want to kind of leave you with a final thought here. So the next time that something, bad happens to you, realize that nothing is inherently good or bad, and it's just that meaning that we attribute to it that makes it so. And maybe, just maybe, that asshole who just rear-ended your car is the right person that you need in your life right at that moment. Who knows?